Hi guys, welcome to this video on what if the Avengers were sociological perspectives. Now I'm a big fan of Marvel films, the comics and the MCU, and I had some thoughts about what if the sociological theories were Avengers. So I've put some ideas together. Feel free to put some comments on if you've got any different views or different ideas or even ways I could extend this further, and I hope this makes some sense and you enjoy it. So the first the first theory I've got is I thought about Captain America, and I thought Captain America could be a good representation of functionalism. So, you know, he's leader of the Avengers, he's the first Avenger, and obviously we think about functionalism as the first theory in sociology. So he's the leader of the Avengers. He's also a symbol of America, so it's got some connections to civil religion and Bella. He is all about encouraging solidarity and unity, and about maintaining integration. So again, thought that was quite a good link to functionalism. He has connections to the state and he is supportive of it, as long as it's working in the interest of its members. So he's for the good of the people, good of America. And as a man out of time, some of his views are considered old-fashioned. Hawkeye, on the other hand, I thought about could represent the new right. Now again, new right is not a great theory and may not be viewed favourably, but I thought more in the sense of the fact that he is slightly stronger connections to the state than Captain America would be. He supports Captain America, he agrees with most of his ideas, most of his principles. Some of his ideas are guided by the state and obviously by S.H.I.E.L.D., who he works for before the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D. And his decisions work in the interest of those in power rather than those around him. So again, he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. rather than working on his own interests. Hawkeye prefers traditional methods like the bow and arrow, and he could be, again, considered slightly old-fashioned by using this. 4 could represent traditional Marxism. So he lives in a hierarchical and patriarchal society. His power is based on divine right of kings. His hammer, Mjolnir, is a source of his power. It's passed down through inheritance. It's never questioned until it's taken away. He works in the interest of Asgard, so he's working for the powerful and maintaining their power again until Asgard was destroyed. He will support Earth as long as it's in the interests of and the power of protecting Asgard. As I say, I came up with this well before obviously Asgard was destroyed in Ragnarok. And then we have Iron Man. Now Iron Man could be seen as sort of neo-Marxism. So the idea that he has superior economic power and educational capital, so he would become part of the ruling classes, but he is using that power and that wealth to become a symbol of capitalism. He's also using modern technology. It's a more modern approach, a more modern view of power than Thor. So he's got lots of connections to the state, which direct his actions, but these are maybe not as tightly controlled. He can act independently, so that element of autonomy with Iron Man. So again, maybe how it could represent neo-Marxism, but again, more modern source of power equals 4. Also based on Endgame, what I thought was quite interesting, obviously the idea that Captain America takes Mjolnir and can use him. So again, it could show that connection between traditional Marxism and functionalism. Other things we got Black Widow. I thought radical feminism. Again, there's not many female characters in the MCU, although that is starting to change and there is a bit of growth here. However, I thought Black Widow, due to the amount of Red Note Ledger, Black Widow is at the mercy of the patriarchal S.H.I.E.L.D. Until obviously following the blip where she kind of takes over S.H.I.E.L.D. Lacking the power compared to enhanced colleagues of the Avengers, she's often sexualized, used as the honey trap. She's objectified by her looks, which are used as a tool of espionage. Obviously more aggressive maybe than the other female Avengers. Scarlet Witch I thought could be liberal feminism, so maybe a more modern equivalent to Black Widow. She's less sexualized, less objectified than the Black Widow. However, her power comes from modern day thinking, from scientific method. She poses superpowers, which makes her more of an equal. And I thought about this in the sense that liberal feminism is more about equality. However, her inability to control these powers makes her less equal to her male counterparts. So again, I suppose the idea being that the liberal feminism, the feminism idea kind of makes her seen less favourably. Ant-Man, I thought interactionism just on the power process that he shrinks to microscopic levels. He's a bottom-up approach. Again, slightly different from the other Avengers. That he comes from a slightly, a cat burglar background, so he's not a traditional hero. However, obviously he lacks awareness of the wider structures. Again, he's really focused on his events and his story, and not always aware of the bigger picture. And again, not always a main part of the Avengers in that sense. He's kind of the connected side character. And last but not least, I thought about Vision and how Vision could represent postmodernism. So he's created in the postmodern era. He's created using scientific methods and I suppose with the Mind Stone elements of magic. Obviously, there's globalization because of the sharing across Earth, and he's made with the vibranium from Wakanda, and he's creating the fabricator from that research facility in Korea. So he's again elements of globalization. He's a hybrid of Jarvis and Ultron. So he's something new, he's something unique, he's different from all the other Avengers. The Infinity Stone and the power of the Mind Stone again makes him a more powerful and more contemporary Avenger. But he again does not have an equal among the rest of them. And again, that could be one idea there. As I said, not a truly perfect thing, but it's just some ideas I had. I thought it was quite a good way to think about theories. I'm going to leave the comments open. I'm more than happy if you've got any different suggestions, any different characters that you feel link. I mean, there's still some areas of sociology that I haven't touched on yet, or specific topics I haven't touched on. So I'm more than happy to hear your ideas. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this, and see you again soon.